Drew McIntyre is the WWE champion once again. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the Raw review. What's up, guys? My name is Mex. I am WrestleManiac. I'm sorry, I'm just so happy. I'm just taken aback. Ladies and gentlemen, Drew McIntyre. He's done it. I'm a fan. You guys know I'm a fan of Drew McIntyre. But yeah, let's start again. Let me just get my wits about me. Ladies and gentlemen, Drew McIntyre is the WWE champion one more time. It's amazing. It's amazing. You know, they've kind of done this for the Survivor Series match, I guess. We'll get on to Drew McIntyre, how he won it, the implications, obviously going on to Survivor Series. But yeah, I'm the WrestleManiac. This is our channel. We cover WWE and AEW. If this sounds like the place for you, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I drop a new video. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get into the review. The show started with Drew McIntyre coming out, in fact, and he was kind of setting us up for what was going to be, you know, on the night ahead with taking on Randy Orton. And this segment was just a bit, we've seen it. You know, he was interrupted through his rah-rah speech by Miz and Morrison. Obviously, they're carrying the Money in the Bank briefcase. And Miz is just kind of reminding him that, you know, yes, you have the WWE Championship match tonight officially, but I can still cash in. And again, like I say, this is something it's been done. I'm pretty sure this exact whole segment was a copy and paste from the beginning of Raw last week. Randy Orton came out as well. Well, he didn't come out. He was on the Titron, and exactly the same thing. I'm a legend. You know, I've been through so much in WWE, yet I'm still here because they need me, because I'm a legend, etc., etc. It wasn't great. It wasn't great. Like I said, it was a bit of a copy and paste. And to be honest, this kind of set the tone for the rest of the show. I probably won't spend too much going through this show per se, because there wasn't a lot in terms of surprising things or anything to talk about until we got to the main event. So yeah, that was the opening segment. And then after that followed the first match of the night. Asuka, Mandy Rose, and Dana Brooke taking on Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, and Lana. So I guess this was a bit of a Survivor Series tune-up for the Raw women's team. Lana put this together, and Lana was backstage before the match started, kind of telling everybody, hey guys, like, I put this together. You know, I want to prove to myself and prove to you guys that I belong here in this team, and it wasn't a fluke getting on this team. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler told Lana during the match, do not tag yourself in. We're going to win without you. We don't need you, etc., etc. However, it was kind of obvious it would happen. Lana tagged herself in during the match. Right when, as you can see, you know, Shayna Baszler was in the ascendancy, had the Kirifuda clutch locked in on Asuka. Lana tagged herself in, tried to pin Asuka, didn't work. Asuka locked her in the Asuka lock, and then yeah, it's elementary from there. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler watched on and tried to kind of, well, I say tried. They didn't try to do anything, just watched on. And Lana tapped out. They then kind of pretended like, you know, you tried, you showed guts, etc., etc. Psych. Nia Jax picked her up and put her through the commentary announcers table for a ninth week in a row. Personally, I didn't like this angle just because I don't like this angle, sorry, because of it's like the undertones of bullying. And obviously WWE are big on their no bullying campaigns and stuff like that. I think it's the Be a Star campaign. Why is Lana basically being bullied on TV? Like I've said before on previous Raw reviews, this isn't how you get someone like Lana, especially, over as a babyface. Yeah, people say they feel sorry for her and stuff, but this isn't babyface, I feel sorry for you sort of thing. You know, she's not fighting from underneath or anything. Not getting a chance to showcase much. I just don't think this is effective. I just really don't think this is effective at all. And I don't like the bullying. I don't care for Lana in that sense, but I just don't like the bullying undertones that are coming with this. Especially where they've played out a storyline in the past of Nia Jax being bullied and Nia Jax overcoming that but to become women's champion at the time. I just don't like this. It doesn't sit well with me. During the match as well, Shayna Baszler done her, you know, when the person puts their arm like this and she stamps on their arm. She done it to Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose obviously got injured last week's match, if you guys remember. So Mandy Rose is out of Survivor Series, right? Dana Brooke now backstage is going to check up on Mandy Rose in the trainer's room. She gets attacked by Reckoning from Retribution. I don't know where the ties are there. Dana Brooke is now out of Survivor Series. So Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose are out of the Survivor Series match. Now, I don't know if Mandy Rose is properly injured and they thought, well, those guys are a tag team. Let's take them both out, sort of thing. I don't think anything has come out as to why this is a decision. And later on, we found that Peyton Royce and Lacey Evans would replace these guys in the tag team. And it's just like, why? What none of this kind of makes sense. Why have you taken out two people the week of the event? Doesn't really add up. And again, Peyton Royce and had ties to Lacey Evans. Why did you split up the Iconics? It makes zero sense. But we move. Next up on the show, we had a Firefly Funhouse segment. And this was Bray Wyatt. Obviously, in the opening segment, Miz had said some things about Bray Wyatt. And Bray Wyatt was saying, look, we're going to have a match. He basically said this in the Funhouse segment and said, you know, he's going to prepare for the match. So in the Funhouse, he was preparing his agility. He done a little skit of how he was preparing for his agility. They killed or attacked Rambling Rabbit as per usual. And he showed his spelling ability where he was asked to spell jackass by Alexa Bliss. And he spelled it M-I-Z as in Miz. So yeah, so we were gonna get Bray Wyatt versus the Miz later on in the night. Next up, we had a pretty good tag team championship match. It was the New Day versus the Hurt Business, and there was a bit of promo and back and forth before, which for me didn't really come off. Kofi called them the Jerk Business, and they kind of went, "Is that it? Is that what you have for us?" sort of thing. The match was much better than the promo that came before it. Really, really good. We saw Shelton Benjamin do an angle slam, the Olympic slam, and I thought he can't do that and not get the win right now, and he didn't get the win. But yeah, really, these guys really tried to kind of save what had happened on the show beforehand. There was a part as well where Cedric Alexander was doing suicide dives to the outside, and I think the first suicide dive looked like it completely missed Kofi, and he went straight into the barrier. It was so brutal. It was crazy. I'm just reading comments. D12, hope you're good. The New Day match was really good. Other than that, the show was like every other show for the last couple of months. I felt the main event was decent as well, but this was definitely one of the two stand-up matches on this particular card. Yeah, so in the end, the New Day put away the Hurt Business, and the New Day go on to retain the tag team championships, and the New Day go on to face Street Profits at Survivor Series, which I believe is a match everyone was really looking forward to. So in one aspect, it doesn't surprise me that Hurt Business didn't win here, but I do think Hurt Business lose a bit of momentum not winning here as well. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if once you have the Survivor Series match, Street Profits and New Day, which I expect Street Profits to win, if they come back on Raw, New Day, that is, the Hurt Business beat them then for the tag team championships. Maybe they just want to get this particular match out the way. So, yeah, that was a pretty good match on the card. Right, guys, just before we continue and we get onto Retribution versus the men's Survivor Series team, if you're enjoying today's review, please make sure you've hit the thumbs up button. Whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button. It helps us greatly right here at WrestleManiac UK. It does loads for the channel and it makes me happy. So please hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already. Next up, we actually had a backstage segment, which I'll get onto first. Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. We've been seeing them for several weeks, having a good time, getting along with each other. Backstage segment. And Sheamus recovered a treasure chest, a trunk of some sort that had Drew McIntyre's ancestors' kind of stuff in it, or his own stuff that he thought he had just been lost, just family like heirlooms and stuff, a kilt, other things. Sheamus also presented Drew McIntyre with a sword. I thought this was kind of weird. Just because, I mean, I understand, the links back to the Scottish heritage and stuff like that. Maybe they also wanted to throw this in because Scotland recently qualified for the European Football Championships. Drew McIntyre Scottish. But for Sheamus to come and just say, I found this trunk of your family stuff backstage on Raw, I just thought was just a bit weird. Like, why would he have found it there, sort of thing? If it was a case where he said, from your first run when you were here with the company originally, you left this stuff behind, and I thought I'd just give it to you, that might make a bit more sense. But yeah, to say you found his family's stuff here on Raw was just a bit weird. Anyway, talking about Sheamus, we had the Survivor Series men's Raw team taking on Retribution. AJ Styles sat out of this one. He was on commentary. And again, the story being told was how dysfunctional the men's Raw team is. They just can't get along. And to be honest, it seems to be that Braun Strowman is the one with the ego issue. Like, he's at the center of all the issues, tagging people in, tagging people out, and beating up his own team members. He seems to be the one that's really causing a lot of the issues. During the match, I think the best kind of flurry of action, if you want to put it that way, was from Keith Lee. He had a part where he was tagged in and cleaned house. He took it to Slapjack, T-Bar, Mace, all of them really kind of cleaned house when he got into the ring. But again, the match ended through these guys arguing and falling out and bickering, and it was Matt Riddle that was rolled up by Mustafa Ali, and Retribution got the win. So not a good way to go into Survivor Series from the Raw men's team, but I'm pretty sure on the night of Survivor Series, these guys are going to put their bickering behind them and get the job done and win the Survivor Series match. Next up, we had a full match that was promised, Bray Wyatt versus The Miz. But before that match got started, we had Nikki Cross come out. Miz cut a promo. Alexa Bliss came out and said, you're not getting out of this one. Basically, you're going to face Bray Wyatt. Nikki Cross, who had been looking for Alexa Bliss, came out and told Alexa Bliss, like, look, you need to stop following The Fiend, stop following Bray Wyatt. It's to your detriment, you're not gaining from this at all. Alexa Bliss just straight up attacked Nikki Cross. So I guess that's the end of their friendship. Officials and everyone came out and separated the two, and I missed that was happening. Bray Wyatt made his entrance, his Firefly Funhouse entrance. So this was Firefly Funhouse Bray. It wasn't The Fiend. So he came out, and the minute he came out, Alexa Bliss just changed all happy with the music and linked arms with Bray Wyatt, and they walked down the entranceway, etc., and got into the match. Those two's character work is just absolutely off the charts right now. It's so good. Alexa Bliss as well, like it's like she was made for this role. She was made for this role, and people often have a lot to say about Alexa Bliss, whether it's her always getting opportunities or her lack of in-ring talent. I just think she's just a very good WWE superstar, in terms of what they need. This is an entertainment company. Let's not forget that. And I think Alexa Bliss is just absolutely brilliant at what she does. Like, I really don't know where the slander, where the negative comments, where the naysayers come from when it comes to Alexa Bliss. She's given, you know, despite the bad booking with the Fiend, particularly, not even so much Bray Wyatt's character, as the Fiend's booking, and that's been very shoddy. She has given this whole Firefly Funhouse like a second wind almost with her character. So yeah, great to see her kind of now alongside Bray Wyatt in this kind of manager role during his match. And John Morrison, who tried to get involved a couple of times, he was stopped by Bray Wyatt. I guess the emphatic part of the match was when John Morrison tried to get involved again. Alexa Bliss literally dived on John Morrison and over the barricade. So he was completely taken out. Both of them were taken out. The Miz was caught in the corner by Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt dragged him into the middle of the ring and gave him the Sister Abigail, which he got the 1, 2, 3 and won the match. And then slowly you saw Alexa Bliss just kind of poke her head out like she was one of the puppets. And that's what I can resemble it to. She was one of the puppets in the funhouse. She just popped her head over that barricade. She climbed the barricade. She then walked along the barricade and then jumped down, and Bray Wyatt was applauding her the whole time. Just like a kid would, you know, climb a brick wall as you're walking down the street. Like, it's just brilliant. It's honestly just so good. So yeah, those two are doing some great work, and this was a really fun segment. The match was just a bit whatever, you know. You're never going to get like a 5-star match out of The Miz or, you know, Bray Wyatt necessarily, but the storytelling was very, very good throughout the match. And then we get on to the main event. And, you know, I've kind of been saying to those I've spoken to since I've watched the pageantry behind this. Drew McIntyre's like whole theme song had played, and you're just hearing the commentary talk up the match, give it the big match feel. And then these are when the cogs begin to turn, you know, that something's happening here. And eventually Drew McIntyre comes out wearing all the garb that, you know, Sheamus had just given him. He's wearing the kilt. He comes out with the massive sword and puts the sword into the ground. I know that's a reference to like an old story, old like I can't remember. It's at the tip of my tongue, but I don't want to say the wrong thing. But maybe it's like reference to Sword in the Stone, I think it is. And he puts the sword back in, and he walks down, fires blazing, pyros going off. This is when it dawns on me: Drew wins. Drew wins, and Drew is a star. And obviously, they have, like I say, they have the big build up. One part that I thought was hilarious that I actually need to watch back and catch if this actually happened, when Randy Orton came out and, you know, they were about to do the announcing of, you know, here's the challenger, here's the champion. As Drew McIntyre took off his kilt, Randy Orton Randy Orton said, I'm pretty sure he said this. Randy Orton said, "Ooh, I like that." Obviously, he's taken off his kilt in front of him, and like, Randy Orton is such a character. I'm sure he said something along the lines of, "Ooh, I like that," when he took off his kilt, and Drew McIntyre said something back to him. Obviously, these guys must have massive respect for each other behind the scenes. But yeah, a very, very brutal match that this went on to be. Before it even got brutal, to be honest, Randy Orton tried to escape a couple of times. He took the WWE Championship and tried to walk up the entranceway for, you know, champion's advantage. I can walk away, nothing's gonna happen. I'll retain the title. Adam Pearce came out and he made this a no count out, no disqualification match. Again, another thing to say, you know, Randy Orton, you can't run or hide. This match is going to end today in this ring, pinfall or submission, whether you like it or not. And yeah, it got brutal. Randy Orton started the brutality. He got the chairs out. He got the table involved, the commentary table. They were throwing each other on it. There was several missed claymores, which the commentary were purposely kind of counting. Drew McIntyre missed about 3 claymores before he hit one. McIntyre pushed Randy Orton through a table, which cracked and kind of like it ripped. What I say ripped, poked him in the back, and Randy Orton was bleeding on his back. Really, really good match, which was emphasized at the point of the finish, where Randy Orton tried to deliver the RKO, and Drew McIntyre reversed it, bounced off the ropes, came back, Claymore kick, pinned Randy Orton, and Drew McIntyre is a 2-time WWE champion. What a sight. What a way to build it up. And like I said, Drew McIntyre is a star. We cannot deny this. Him going on to face Roman Reigns is the company's 2 biggest stars right now. Roman Reigns' star is still a lot higher than where Drew McIntyre's is, but I mean, we've become accustomed to seeing the WWE Championship now switch hands before Survivor Series. This has happened at least on 3 occasions in recent memory. So that was part of the reason why I think everyone thought this was going to happen as well. But I think they made a mistake putting the belt on Randy Orton as late as they did. He had to win it at SummerSlam. He didn't win it. They eventually gave it to him. 22-day reign for Randy Orton. It's not the best, is it? It kind of makes it a bit irrelevant taking it off Drew in the first place. But it's back with Drew. Like I said, maybe there's deeper underlying story here, where Edge, who they want to have a program with Randy Orton, isn't making the recovery necessary to get back into shape by January, February, WrestleMania. So maybe they have other plans for Randy Orton. Maybe now they're going to spin off it to Randy Orton versus The Fiend, without the title involved. Drew McIntyre can go on to have a match against Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns kinda should win. Will Roman Reigns win? That could be a question. You guys put it down in the comments. Will Roman Reigns beat the newly crowned WWE champion? We know Jey Uso will surely be involved somehow. And I think Drew McIntyre will come back to Raw and probably get involved in a feud with Sheamus. They've been all nice and happy pally for the last few weeks, but I'm sure that will probably be a upcoming Drew McIntyre feud before the Rumble, where he might have a more more eye-catching feud, maybe, that people will be more interested in. Maybe that will be Keith Lee. Who knows? But yeah, guys, that is the Raw review. I'm still very happy. Struggled to get my words out in the beginning, but I'm a big Drew McIntyre fan. Of course, he's a British guy like myself, so very, very happy to see Drew on top again. Kind of giving me something to look forward to for Survivor Series. But yeah, guys, let me know, who do you think is going to win at Survivor Series, Roman Reigns or Drew McIntyre? If you enjoyed this review, please make sure you hit the thumbs up button. And if you're new here, remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I drop a new video. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the video today. WrestleManiac UK signing out, and I'll see you soon.